I've been Bible quizzing since freshman year, and when I first heard about it from the accents, I was like, I'm going to have to memorize all these verses. It's going to take forever, and Phoebe's so good. And, like, Annika's really good. And I remember I sat down at the table at church and, like, the first practice, and I memorized my first verse out of quizzing, and it was Luke 5:8. Really hope I don't get this wrong. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." And like, I remember when I first memorized that verse, I was like, woo, I got one! And Annika and Phoebe are in the corner, and they're like, I got 20! And I'm like, woo! And like, I'm so thankful that they planted that seed in my life for quizzing, because it grew into quizzing my freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. And I think that is an awesome foundation that God's put in my life, and He's enabled people to be a transportation device of God's Word. And I think that I'm going to Eastern Washington University this fall, and I'm really nervous, but I know that I have a foundation of God, and not only a foundation, those walls are up. And that makes me really comforted and really, you know, more comfortable with going into college. I mean, I'm still really scared, and I talk about it all the time with my mom, like, I'm not going, and she's like, oh, you're going. Like, she already has the paint color for my room picked up. And, and I'm just so thankful that God enables people and, like, works through them. Like, a person can talk about quizzing to you, and they can get you into quizzing, but it's really Him who works through the person. And it's really cool because I've quizzed with Michelle and Saber for 4 years now, and it's Phoebe and everybody and Monica, and like, we've always been in the same church quizzing, and like, it's so cool. Like, I'll go to school or PE, and I'll have a old quiz shirt on from like freshman year, and they'll be like, what is that? Because it's like this puffy paint shirt. It looks like I got it out of, like, you know, the back of my closet. And they're like, what is that? And I like tell them about it, and it's like, I'm being an evangelist. Like, I'm spreading the word just by being in PE with a quiz shirt on. Like, that's so cool. And then Heidi comes along, and she's like a rookie, and like, it's so cool that she picked up on it so fast. And like, we'll be in the library, and I mean, we'll pretend to study, and people are like, what are you doing? And we tell them, and like, I don't know, like, I think that, I don't know, I'm just so thankful for quizzing, because it's such a great way to learn God's Word. And it's not necessarily, a lot of it's, okay, learn this many verses and it's obligation, but a lot of it you have to do it on your own, and you have to want to learn God's Word, because you can memorize it, but you're not going to utilize it unless you truly want it. And so I asked Alan to bring me a Bible, but he's kind of lacking on it. Thanks, Alan. How many seniors is it?
Senior power.
That's right.
2012.
Okay. In 1 Timothy 4, verse 12, it says, Do not let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech and life and love and faith and in purity. I really think that this is my senior verse, like the one that I'm going to have on my wall in college, because like, I'm going to be a freshman in college, but that doesn't mean that I can't, you know, hold my head up high like a young woman of Christ, and, you know, not go to parties and not engage in certain activities and wear my quiz shirts around campus. And like, I'm just really excited, but I'm nervous, but I know that I'm going into college with an armor of God as a young woman of Christ, and so, yeah.